Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. I am your host, bad boy Bobby motherfucking Sampson,
I
and I
like that.
am joined with the one and only Mr. Chance. I ain't your daddy, Michaels. How do you like that one? I
I
thought I'd
like
try
that one.
something different. How are you, my friend?
Doing pretty well yourself.
Can't complain, man. Here we are, January. I mean, I guess New Year's is kind of over and everything
Yeah.
is everything. Now we're back into the flow of everything. And that's the first big card of the year in terms of boxing pay-per-views. But we'll get to that in just 1 second, because what I want to talk about first, Mr. Michaels, will tie in nicely with where we're going. So one, Mr. Dana White, the head of the UFC, the man, that makes things happen.
Yep.
A bit of a polarizing figure in a lot of ways, but you know
Yep.
what? He's done a lot of good for the sport. I do, agree with a lot of what he says and how he operates, and I appreciate that. It's refreshing.
Puts
Just
on a lot of
from
good fights that fans want to
well,
see.
well, that's the thing. From a matchmaker point, standpoint, I can't argue with the man. He's giving
Yep.
us the fights we want to see, which is forcing other combat, sports to do the same in a way.
Yep.
Boxing did a good job in 2022, but
Not bad.
they could have done a better job. There were a lot of fights that got missed that should have happened last year, but that's neither here nor there. That's the past. Now we look to the future.
2023 looks good for boxing. If it goes like it's planned, it should be a way stronger year than last year.
Well, I mean, 2022 was good, but yeah, 2023 should be better, we hope. There's a little something there I want to hit on later on as well. So, but Dana White, yeah, on New Year's Eve, video surfaced of him slapping his wife. Now, let me preference this. His woman hit him first.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not condoning his actions or anything by that, but I do want to be fair to say
It
that
wasn't unprovoked, but you can't put your hands on a woman, is what you're basically saying.
more or less, I don't care,
Yeah.
a woman can slap me, can slap you, and all we can do is grin and bear it, right? You got to be a special type of fucking psycho
To do that.
that to
Absolutely.
do that. I don't care what pretenses they were. Yes, alcohol was involved, and a lot of people are commending Dana for getting out in front of it. But I mean, really, what can he do? I mean, the video's there.
Well, that's the thing is this guy is so famous wherever he goes, walking across the street, tying his shoes. He's being filmed all the time. He should know better. You can't put your hands in a woman, but he had to know he's being filmed. Like you're Dana White. I mean,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
got her
no,
in front of it. He apologized. This really, really damages his career. I got on Tank for hitting this woman. I got to get on Dana too. That's a scumbag move, Dana. Like you're a
no,
big, strong guy that does powerlifting, and he hit her hard too.
yeah. Well, he's very influential, right? He
Yeah,
holds a lot of influence, and I think the one thing that kind of disturbed me about all the comments and stuff that came out afterwards were a lot of the people that were supporting him.
I
Like,
think because she struck first, some people are trying to downplay, but it doesn't matter. We've all been hit, struck by a woman before. You don't strike back.
no, man. Like, I mean, I know I've never been struck by a woman. Have you?
I've been, like this, but nothing hard or anything. But I didn't do anything back.
I had a bagel thrown at me once. A cream
You never
cheese.
seen your
Never,
mom give your dad a smack or something when they're mad back in the day?
no, never saw that shit, man.
No,
No, no.
I
I
didn't
think
see it
that's,
either. But I
you
mean, I've
know,
heard my friends seeing it.
yeah, no, I've never seen it myself per se. I
I've
saw a
seen my
guy.
friend. I've seen my friend smack his woman. I had to pull him off for once.
Yeah, no, I saw a guy at college. I remember this very vividly. We were all standing outside the main entrances, and this girl came up and she confronted this guy. And I don't know what the conversation was. All I saw was this guy came back and right hooked her in the face, man, knocked her
Ooh,
out.
not
Right. And
good.
then three other dudes jumped on him and beat the living. Like no one broke it up either. They just stood like they put the boots to
He
this guy
deserved that.
hard.
He deserved that.
Well, yeah. So what basically happened in that situation, I found out after the fact, just to kind of close that story, is this fellow was spreading dirty rumors about her,
Mm,
and you're you have a lot of friends of the South Asian descent, so you understand the culture a little bit and whatnot.
yep, I get it.
So this guy was calling her a slut, a whore, and at this time there was no online,
That's
so
way worse in the South Asian culture than it is in the white culture. That's for sure.
no, 100%. I think ethnically that's one of them, sad parts of my culture that I don't really subscribe to. I don't subscribe to a lot of my culture per se, But that
I
being
know what you're
said,
saying. The men can bang 20 babes, get a high five. The girl sees the one guy, she's a slut. I know what you mean. Yeah.
right. So, nothing happened between the two of them. This girl was really nice. I know her myself just from college and,
Yeah.
talking to her and stuff. So, I would never pigeonhole her as someone, to be promiscuous. Pardon me. To be promiscuous or anything like that. But I guess this guy just wanted to get his, fucking numbers up or whatever he was trying to pad.
Yeah, some guys do that. They brag about how many people they slept with. 90% of the time, it's not true.
Yeah, and I don't think he was expecting her to come and confront him in front of everybody like that. Like, like
Yeah.
that was a ballsy move on her part as well. But I don't think she anticipated getting knocked out for it.
Yeah, she didn't deserve that, man. I'm glad
No.
he got beat up. He deserves that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We all stood by, and again, this was a time when camera phones were non-existent per se. You had
Yeah.
to be really, really, really rich. I think at that point in '94, you had to have fuck you money to buy a phone.
He had one of those big brick cell phones. Remember the big silver ones?
Yeah, the 800s and whatever, like the
Yeah.
the gray ones with the huge antenna.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I think at that time we were starting to see, some other technology emerge or whatnot. Anyways, long story short, we digress. Dana White slap show, which is airing on TBS. It's basically
He's canceled that now. It's done.
no.
Still happening?
It's delayed by a week.
It's delayed by a week. Okay.
So
Wow.
shame on Warner Brother and Time Warner for this, in my opinion, personally. I mean, you're promoting a show where people get slapped. I get it. It's just slapping each other, but it's men slapping men, women slapping women. So this show is basically kind of be like the Ultimate Fighter, where all these slap guys live in a house and train to slap, and then they go compete. So
Wow.
that's the premise of it. So it's all being recorded. Everything is kind of taped, I guess, all,
Yeah.
majority of it anyways. So the network has basically said that, we're going to delay it by a week.
Let the heat die off a little bit.
Well, I think, me personally, I have a problem with it because I think that because of what happened and because of the nature of how it happened, we're talking slaps here. And this is what happened here. Like
I
he
know.
slapped, she slapped him, he slapped her. And what message is the network sending to people saying, "Oh, we're just going to delay it by a week"? Right?
Yeah.
When people reached out to ESPN to ask them about their stance on what Dana White did, you know what their response was?
What's that?
They produced the content. We're just the distributors. That was their official comment.
And they've already put a lot of money into this. So they don't want to back out now. It's probably a part of it too, right?
It has a lot to do with a lot of it, but I ultimately I think where my point is, and it ties in with all the people that are supporting his actions. And what message are you sending the world?
It's kind of like the Tank Davis.
Right. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that next,
Yeah.
right? On one hand, you got the world complaining that, oh, everything is this, and this, right?
Yeah.
Yet on the other hand, you can slap your woman and it's okay.
Yeah, it's a
Where's the
bad look for
balance?
him.
No, where's the balance in all of it? Like on one hand, you got the woke people talking all this shit nonstop. Cancel him, cancel that, cancel this. All those woke motherfuckers are the same people saying, oh, Dana's a good guy. He looks out for the fighters, blah, blah, blah. This has nothing to do with the sport, has nothing to do with fighting. I said to you right off the bat, man, Dana White's done amazing jobs as matchmaker. Yep. He's run the UFC beautifully from the moment he took it over with the
Fertitta brothers.
The Fertitta brothers. So from a professional standpoint, yeah, the guy's genius. Michael Jackson's music is awesome, but I don't trust him as a man.
No, nobody trusts that guy.
Well, I'm just saying,
no, you're right. You're right. You're separating the Dana White UFC promoter from the man. Exactly. What he did was totally wrong. That's going to hurt his reputation and career. So he's punished guys before for doing this. So he's going to punish himself, probably not.
Well, I think the best thing for him is to kind of take a step back, at least for a month or two, and not be on TV, not do the post-fight press conferences, just kind of be, distant from it. That's my opinion.
I agree. I don't think he will, though, but I totally agree with you.
But again, I think we live in an age in society, and I hate to say this, man, and and I don't mean just any disrespect to anybody, but I knew things were fucking off the rails when Donald Trump said that he likes to grab the pussy, and he still fucking won.
Friend there, he was got recorded,
right? Yeah, and he still fucking won. You know what I mean?
Like, no, he said I can get any woman I want. I just grab.
No. I know, but that's what he said, right? I grab the pussy and I can have it, right? I mean, again, you would think, oh shit, this guy just said this. There's no way he's going to win the presidency now.
And he did.
And
Yeah.
then he does. So I mean, I'm conflicted, Michael's Chance, because on one hand you're told we have to be this way now. Yet on the other hand, it can
I
slap
think
you.
the owners of the UFC should suspend him maybe for a month, just like they would the other fighters that would do this. Just send a message and think this can all die down. We can move on, kind of thing.
But see, here's the thing. The other part of that is they are looking at, and this is the sad part. It's 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 where your stock finishes is what determines what actions people are willing to take now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
definitely part of it. Money's always the key
morality
factor.
is thrown out the door. There is no moral fucking level playing ground for any of these guys anymore. It's
No,
all about stocks and the revenue that you're bringing in. Now,
100%.
when the story broke on Monday, um, their Endeavor stock went down 6%. Since that time, I don't know what it is today. Maybe you
I
can
didn't
take a
check.
peek at it, but it was up again 3%. Still down 3, but up 3 from the 6 that they lost. So if they're not losing any money, I doubt with everything inside my soul that they're going to fucking.
I highly doubt it too. But if I was the owners, I'd say we're going to suspend you for a month, like you would another fighter, whatever their policy is on domestic violence. Suspend them, bring them back, and we can all move on. But I don't think he's going to get suspended. You're right.
I don't think anything's going to happen, and I think the biggest telltale of all is the fact that if this show's already in the can, it's already to go, it's edited, it's taped, it's ready. Why not hold off till September? Let this die down completely, see where this goes, because the story's still picking up steam. It's not over,
No, it's not over. We're
right?
going to hear about it for a
You
little bit.
know,
But he'll be
like
out in next UFC. I think it's on January 14th. He'll be out there.
yeah. So I mean, will he be in Australia for this? I don't know. You know,
I
we'll
think
we'll
so.
find out. We'll see. Anyways, I just wanted
Bad
to
look, Dana. Bad look. You shouldn't be
bad
doing that.
look, right? And here's another guy with a bad look, Mr. Gervonta Tank Davis, who is fighting this weekend on an awesome card. I think this is probably the best card. It's for the first card of the year, but
It's a good one. It's starting with a bang.
it's a good one, right?
One thing about Tank, his
Through.
woman called 911 saying she's going to die. He's going to kill me now. She said, "Oh, he never touched me."
Exactly. Like, I
So
mean,
obviously, he
everything's
got
a
to
cover
recount her
up.
story.
Well, I mean, he got her to recount the story and whatnot. Now, Gervonta Davis is known for selling out arenas, right?
Yeah.
That's just one claim to fame. What do you say about all the people in that arena who will be in there cheering for him if it's another sellout? Is that 14, 15,000 people that are just fucking have bad moral values?
Yeah, it's a tough call, right? They're going to say, "Oh, you separate the fighter from the professional guy," right?
But here's the deal. I have a heart, and I agree with you, right? And I've said this before. I said it 5 minutes ago. I said that to you.
Yeah.
But my problem in this situation, and maybe I don't know how to explain this to you, man. It's like you're a fucking fighter, and if you're hitting women as a fighter, that's just a whole different level for me,
Yeah, I know. He's a trained fighter. His hands are
right? Like
weapons.
I look at like okay, Wayne Gretzky. I love him to death. Okay, I'm not an Oilers fan, but I loved Gretzky as a kid. Now, if he beat up Janet, I would probably be very upset about it. Like, why would you do that? But I would
Yeah,
still say he's the greatest hockey player to ever live.
absolutely.
Hockey player.
So that's what I think people are doing, going there, they're separating. But if you look online, most people are actually defending Tank.
Well, are defending him.
They're defending Tank, saying, "Well, his woman recanted her story, but he obviously coaxed her into that."
Yeah, but obviously he coaxed her into it. I mean, the same way that Dana White's wife came out and said, "Oh no, this is we've been like those two have known each other since they were 12 years old, right?
They've
They've
been
been
together for
married."
30 years. He's obviously done this before. It's not the first time he's ever done that.
Of course not, bro. It's just the first time he got caught.
Exactly, in the camera phone. If he
Right?
didn't have the camera phone, we never would have heard of it.
I don't believe that anyone can say, "Oh, that's the first time it's happened." If you can do that
Not when
in
he's
a
in his
public
mid-50s.
space, yeah. If you're in a public space like that, you have that already installed in you somewhere.
Yeah.
It could be passed down from father to son, or it could just generationally be that way, right?
Yeah. And
Um,
no excuse, he was drinking, but then he shouldn't be drinking if he can't control himself.
well, I mean, control yourself, but whatever the case may be, man, it is what it is. But anyways, this fight is going on, right? So
Yeah.
Gervonta Tank is taking on Hector Luis Garcia. Now, this fight,
He's a tough fighter, Garcia.
this is not an easy fight by any stretch of anyone's imagination. If anyone thinks Tank's going to walk in here Maybe he will, who knows, right? I mean, the
I
guy
don't
has
think
power.
so, but yeah.
But that being said, I highly do not anticipate this to be a quick, yeah, look at me, kind of fight. The Hector Luis Garcia is legit. Now, granted, he's got 16-1 record, 16-0 record. He's
Yeah.
got over 300 to 400 amateur fights under his belt. This guy, just kind of going back and looking at him like that, Hector Garcia, 10 of those were by knockout. He has won the WBA Latin Featherweight Championship in 2018 against Robin Zamora, and then the WBA Super Featherweight belt in 2022 against Roger Gutierrez. That was his last fight. The win against Gutierrez probably is the one that probably
Gone to this fight.
Well, got him this fight, but also launched him into the stratosphere a bit. This guy's got a name now, right? Like he's legitimate. Like
I got to give Tank credit. He's not fighting a tomato can. He's fighting a legit guy that could upset him. He's a 7-1 favorite, but Garcia, he's a game fighter. I see this going Tank by decision. He's not. I don't think he's going to knock him out and have his way with Garcia. He's a game fighter.
No, he's absolutely. He keeps coming forward. He keeps throwing punches, right? So I mean, Tank has to be aware of that. I mean, there's a lot on the line here for Tank. Like, how much of everything that's kind of gone on is going to be playing in his mind going into this fight?
Yeah, where is he mentally?
Where is he mentally? I think that's my only concern. I'm not concerned with his power. I don't think Garcia has faced power like Tank's yet.
No, he hasn't.
Right? But Garcia is the kind of guy that keeps pushing forward. He's always on the front foot. He's always coming in with different combinations. He throws punches from really weird angles. I actually went back and watched a few of his fights, right? Just his angles and his positioning and this and that will throw off most fighters. So this is not an easy fight by any stretch of anyone's imagination.
No, like I said, Ryan Garcia canceled his tune-up fight. He's just going to fight Tank, assuming Tank wins his fight. So credit to Tank for taking on a tough opponent like Hector. So good. Well, it's going to be a good fight.
All pressure on Tank here. I don't feel any pressure going to Garcia per se.
He's expected to lose.
Like the guy's up and coming, and he's taking a big fight himself as well, right? He's putting a lot on the line himself to keep this fight going. So respect to, I guess I have to give respect to Tank and his team for taking this fight because it was a good fight to take.
Did you see the press conference today when Tank was pushing him? They're kind of pushing each other a little bit.
No, you know what? I literally rode in from work and I grabbed the gear and we are. So I haven't had a chance to look at the press conference.
Just Tank being Tank, cocky, little, brash, thuggish kind of,
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, he's got to
sell the fight.
He's got to grasp on something, right?
This fight is $74.99 on pay-per-view plus tax, so about $80. So it's not a cheap fight, but like you said, it's a pretty loaded card.
I mean,
plus a good
let's get to the yeah. I'm telling you, man, I'm impressed by this card. Like, this is one of those kind of cards where I'm kind of like, okay, I want to watch this whole thing because from the opening bout to the co-main event to the main event,
they actually have 3 free fights before the pay-per-view starts on YouTube and Facebook at like 3:00 or something.
Yeah. So it'll be on Showtime as well, if you can get Showtime. So basically this card, I'm talking about the main fight card here.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the prelims.
Don't order if you want to watch a few fights on Facebook or YouTube, will be on there, the 3.
Right. So the first fight that will start this off is a newly appointed member of the PBC Showtime boxing family, Demetrius Boo Boo Andre, who I've always liked. Boo Boo Andre, man. He basically left Matchroom and Eddie Hearns to join up with PBC and Showtime. So this is his first fight with them. He himself is a 3-time, division champion. He's going up against a Desmond Nicholson for super middleweight here. That should be a fun fight as well. I'll basically say this should, Demetrius to lose. After that, you got Rashidi Ellis against Roman Villa, welterweight tilt here. I don't know too much about both these guys, but I will be keen on watching this as well. Anything welterweight excites me. And then we get into the 2 fights that I am really, really looking forward to. Chance, I've been saying this to you since July. Boots Ennis is the next coming.
The one thing I'm disappointed in Boots is the fight that he's taking. He's fighting this guy who's only ever fought Ukraine, maybe a fight in Russia. Nobody's heard of the guy. Karen Chuzbakian.
Yeah,
I
Karen
mean, this is an
Chuzbakian,
easy.
I
You
get
can't take
it.
nothing away from him, but this is probably going to be a
No,
knockout for Boots in the 3-4 rounds.
nobody wants to fight him right now,
No, I know, but like, come on, guys.
right?
Like,
Like if he wins this fight, sorry to interrupt you, my friend.
you got to
If
fight
he
Earl Spence, yeah.
if he wins this fight, Errol basically has 21 days to sign the contract, or he will be stripped of the title.
Unless they get him step aside for Crawford, announce it before, but I doubt that.
Unless that's not going to happen.
That's the thing, though, is like if you look at Tank Davis, he's fighting a game fighter, Hector Luis Garcia. You look at Boots Ennis, he's fighting a guy that nobody's ever heard of. He only fights in Europe, never had a fight over here. It's like, come on, Boots. I'm not saying
I
fight
get
a
it.
top guy, but a little bit higher up the food chain.
No, I understand that, and I don't think that it's by his design either. Like I've heard him talk, I've heard his interviews, and to be honest here, man, there's a lot of guys who are not willing to fight this guy right now.
No, that's part of it too. Yeah,
right. That's a huge part of it. He's not shying away from anybody. I know, like just hearing him talking and what have you.
I know what his
right?
camp's thinking. Let's get him at Tomato Camp, beat the guy up, knock him out, and come on or Errol Spence. I get why they're doing
no,
it. But
no, I get it as well, but I don't, I don't, and I agree with you, but I don't think that this was the choice that he'd wanted either. But it was the only fight. I'm thinking, this is my guessing, right? This is me making an assumption. I could be wrong. You could be wrong. I could be right. Either way, the fact of the matter is, based on what I've seen of Boots Ennis in interviews, in everything over the last year and a bit, this guy's not trying to dodge or duck anybody. If anything, it's the other way around.
Yeah, that's part of it.
It's kind of like Canelo not wanting to fight Benavidez, or Canelo ducking the Charlos, or Canelo ducking, Boo Boo here.
Yeah,
like the
but you
fights.
Figured Boots would say, "Okay, I get guys want to duck me. You guys got to find somebody a little more game than a guy that just fights in the Ukraine that nobody's heard of."
Well, I think you should fight after this. Okay, so if the Spence fight doesn't happen, yeah, I personally think the next fight for him should be Ugas.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight. Ugas is tough.
I think that should be Ennis's next fight. I think Ugas should be healed up by now. The jaw should be okay. The chin should be okay. Or sorry, the cheek should be okay.
The bone,
So in my opinion, I think that would be an awesome fight to make down the line if Spence isn't coming into it. The only thing that can hold that fight up is two things. Either Spence is no, and if Spence is no to him, so that kind of makes me think then, okay, who's ducking who now? Right.
So I think Spence will take the fight only because he's fighting Keith Thurman, right?
Well, that's the thing, right? So, but that's not confirmed yet either, though. Have they confirmed a date on that?
They haven't gave a date. Yeah, they're saying it's happening, but it's not an official date.
Right. So a lot can happen between then and May, right? I mean, a lot will happen after this fight.
Mm-hmm.
After this card on Saturday, that will start the ball rolling for a lot of different things. The other thing is, I believe Boot comes from Crawford's camp, doesn't he?
Does, yeah.
So that's the other piece here. Like, okay, are you avoiding Crawford, or are you just avoiding the whole fucking camp?
This fight, like I said, Crawford's gonna be 36 this year. This fight is losing its muster and steam, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, because I think ultimately, like I said, I mean, I think if that Boot fight happens with Spence, you know what? I don't care about Crawford and Spence anymore.
Yeah, that's where I'll place it.
Yeah, give me that fight instead then. I think I'm excited.
Younger, more athletic fighter, yeah.
But like I said to you guys and girls and Chance Michaels out there, in my opinion, hands down, I don't think there's anyone else to watch right now like that's going to blow up like Boots Ennis will when his time comes. I'm predicting by the end of this year, he'll be a champion or early 2024.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. He should win this fight on Saturday in the 4th, 5th round.
Well, he should. He should, right? But you know what, though? That's why I love boxing. Because you shouldas, couldas, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. It's
until that ring goes in there, like, I mean, Garcia could just hit him on that right spot and Tank can go down, right? I mean, outside of Pitbull, I don't think Tank's ever been really challenged.
No, it's be his toughest challenge today, probably.
Right. So from that perspective, I'm kind of looking forward to it. So yeah, basically that's the card right there, man. I mean,
good card, solid.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think this is a great start to the boxing year.
Absolutely.
But here's something I was kind of thinking about. What fights do I want to see this year? Have you been thinking about that at all?
I already know. Let's hear what you think. What you want to see.
Okay, I'm gonna start with this one only because it sounds kind of interesting here. It is boxing, but it's not boxing. I want to see Jake Paul and Nate Diaz go at it this year,
Yeah, I was calling him out the other day, so that might happen.
right? I mean, that'd be a fun fight to have. I think that one legitimately will make money, just and I think Diaz will carry the A side on that, in my opinion. I don't think
Yeah, it'd be
people.
close, but the press conference is what will be the best part of that. Better
No,
than
no,
the
no.
fight, will be
I
the
get
shit
it. I
talk.
get it. I don't think. I personally don't think that Logan Paul, sorry, Jake Paul could get the numbers they want for this fight without an 8DS,
Yeah, I know he needs a dance partner for sure.
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, what was his last fight that he had? It was horrible. Like the
Anderson
numbers,
Silva,
yeah, Anderson Silva, as good as the fight was,
like
a
three
come
hundred thousand or something, 200,000.
a coming out party for Jake Paul, like I legitimized him as a boxer after that one. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
but Anderson Silva's not a crap talker though. Diaz can really sell a fight. All that smack talk they're gonna do, right?
no, the Smack Talk's going to be awesome, right? But I think
Yeah,
without a Diaz, I don't think you're going to get the numbers you want on pay-per-view
without Diaz.
without Diaz.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, you need a good dance partner for sure.
Right? So I don't know how well they can dance together, but fuck, man, let's get them out there on that fucking Soul Train floor and
Yeah,
start
I
to
can't wait
train,
to
man.
see it.
So that should be interesting, right? The other one I'm looking forward to, and I know this is going to be coming down soon. Josh Taylor versus Jack Cottrell 2.
Yeah, that's coming out in. They announced that fight. I can't remember the date, but
It's
it's coming
like
out soon.
March or something, right? February or
Something like
March.
that. Yeah, I've seen that today.
That was a robbery.
Yep.
Cottrell kicked the shit out of him, carried him throughout the whole match. Like he basically should have won. There was no. I think the most shocking part of that whole fight was the decision.
Yeah, I can't wait
You
to see
know,
it in part two.
Cottrell got fucked over, man. Like his legacy got fucked. His
He
money
did.
train got fucked. Everything got fucked.
You can't leave with the judges though, right? You gotta take care of yourself. But he definitely got robbed. Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to that one. The other fight that I'm looking forward to here, and this is maybe just me, but I really want to see Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano 2 in Ireland this year.
Yeah, it might happen. I don't know. I'm
I
sure
hope
there'll be a
so.
couple big women's fights.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the biggest women's fight to make. Again, people on both sides are arguing that she won, and I want to see this definitively. Um, so let's see. I hope they can make that fight. I think the Serrano and Logan Paul camps or Jake Paul camps are kind of MVP. I guess that's his promotion, right? They've
Yeah,
been avoiding it up until now. I don't see how much more you can avoid it. Let's get it done. I mean, the numbers were great at Madison Square Garden. You can only imagine how much money these women can make.
yeah,
Again, like legitimate money. Now, this is probably the one fight that I'm really, really hoping to see this year. Like, of all the fights that we're gonna get, all the great fights we're gonna get, Dmitry Bivol against Artem Bitterbeef.
I
I
think that'll
think
happen later on in the year, probably in the early fall.
I hope so, because that's a legit fight between two guys
And
that
you'll see Canelo Bivol this year too.
I hope to see this before that, right? Canelo will be announcing in about 2 weeks' time who he's going up against. That's from Eddie Hearns. Eddie Hearns also talked about Anthony Joshua and his schedule. So Joshua is looking to compete 3 to 4 times this year if he can.
That's not going to happen.
Well, you never know, man. Let's see how it plays out, right? Like you got to get that first one in, anyways. So the first fight that they're talking about will happen, and I think this will get announced next week because he's going to be fighting before Canelo. Canelo will probably do Cinco de Mayo, where
Yeah, he always
Joshua,
does. He'll be there in May.
yeah,
Yeah.
where Joshua's probably looking at a March or April date to get that first fight in. It's probably
You
going to
never
be.
know with guys like Eddie Hearn and Anthony, right? I don't think Anthony will even fight a top 5 heavyweight this year.
Well, he's saying this is coming from them. This is what I've heard. Don't quote me. This is just more paraphrasing. He basically were they're basically saying that they're looking at a top 15 first, and then from there, if possible, they'll see how it goes, and then they'll try to connect with what's his face, Wilder, if they
Oh,
can.
Wilder's going to knock him in the front row,
Yeah,
dude.
and then he wants to finish the year fighting Fury.
I don't see Joshua fighting Wilder or Fury. I think he'll fight an average Joe. Delay, and the year will run out.
Well, let's see. Like I said, this is what they're saying. Let's
Yep.
see if they kind of stick to
I
it.
hope he does, but I doubt it.
Now, Deontay Wilder wants Joshua so bad. So bad.
He knows he's right for the pickings, man. He knows it.
You read this comment. I read this comment that he made, and it fucking kind of scared me a little bit. He said that I want to knock Joshua out and stand over his body and look at Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, he's trying to put that fear in them, right? You know what I mean?
Right?
It's all the fight.
Well, I mean, the one fight that we know that's on the table for Deontay Wilder this year would be against what's that little dude's name who beat up Joshua?
Andy Ruiz Jr.
Andy Ruiz Jr. Thank you. Apparently, well, they're the two eliminator finalists, right?
Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
I don't know if it'd be a good fight. It'd be quick, man. I mean, fuck.
Ruiz is going down. It's maybe 5th, 6th round. He's not going to last long.
I don't even think he has that much in him. I give Ruiz maybe a round and a half, 2 rounds tops. Okay, you know what? It's a new year. 3 rounds tops. That's all I give him. Right? I mean, who was that guy that he fought in LA? The guy the older gentleman.
Who, Ruiz?
No, yeah, Ruiz. Who did he fight? What's his name? The guy's from LA. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Luis Ortiz.
No, Ortiz. Before Ortiz.
I can't remember now.
Chris.
Chris Arreola?
Chris Arreola, right?
Yeah.
Journeyman.
Yeah.
Knocked him down.
Yep.
Right? Knocked him down within 3 rounds. He had him down on a knee. Ortiz kind of put him down a little bit as well, right?
Yeah.
Those 2 guys who are journeymen and have power. Don't get me wrong. It's not no lack of power, but they don't have fucking big dog power.
No, not like Wilder and
right.
Fury.
So that's why I say that this fight shouldn't last more than 2 to 3 rounds, unless Deontay's doing what Wilder did, or Deontay's doing what Fury did, and just have a 11-round sparring match, just to get rounds in, right?
Yeah, Josh is a little more skilled than Chisora, but yeah, it could be. The fight that I want to see will be the biggest selling fight of the year, the granddaddy of them all, the 2 best heavyweights, Fury, Usyk. It's going to go down probably March, April, and that's going to be the biggest fight of the year. Nothing will top this. For the unified titles.
You know what?
Can't wait.
I think it helps that we're talking about 2 big heavyweights. Well, 1 big heavyweight and
1 middleweight, as he calls them.
1 middleweight, as he calls them, absolutely.
But when's the last time you've seen the 2 best heavyweights in the world fight? It doesn't usually happen, so we're finally going to see it.
I think the best 2 eras that we ever got, that we were lucky and privy to be a part of. Well, maybe not the first one so much. I mean, I was a little kid, so I didn't really know what I was seeing. But being able to, like at that time we had Frazier, Ali, Foreman, Spinks,
Larry Holmes,
and what have you. And I think the next wave that ever happened like that would have been in the 90s with Tyson and Lewis and Holyfield and if you want to throw the big man in there as well, what's his name? Man, he fought in both those eras. George Foreman.
Yeah, Foreman did. Yeah, they had a lot of good heavyweights in the 90s.
Right? I mean, that was a booming time. You had Frank Bruno out of the UK as well. You want to throw him in the mix as well.
Yeah.
Right? So there's so many guys in that time. Michael Spinks. I mean, yes, Tyson made small and easy work out of all of them, but I think we're getting into a good age of heavyweights again here, man.
Being the best 2 in the world right this spring, probably in Saudi Arabia.
Well, that's it, right? I mean, you think about it, I guess the last great heavyweight fights that we had were like Lewis and Holyfield
Well, Fury and Wilder were probably more exciting.
Well, I mean, in terms of the best of the best of the best.
Yeah,
right?
Lewis, Holyfield.
Right? Like where both guys could box. Like, I mean, unfortunately for Deontay Wilder.
Or Lennox Lewis versus the older Klitschko brother in 2003 that ended in a TKO when they headbutted or whatever. But
yeah.
Often you got the 2 best going at it.
No. I mean, I think in the early 2000s up until the 2010s, the heavyweight division was pretty meek, man. I mean, yeah, the Klitschko brothers, the Klitschkos were running it, but they were running out of Europe. You weren't getting too many, did they ever fight in America? Or anywhere else outside of Europe?
I think Vladimir did. I can't remember who he fought, but I think he came over to Staples Center.
Okay.
Vitali fought Lennox Lewis at Staples Center.
Right.
Vladimir came here too, but I'm not sure what fight he's for. But Vladimir is getting towards them, but he fought Fury, he fought Joshua. He almost beat them both, but he's getting a little bit older, right?
Yeah.
So should be a fun year.
I'm looking forward to it, man. There's a lot of good fights to happen here, and like for all the good stuff that we're hoping for, I'm hoping there's minimal bad stuff that goes down. I mean, we've already
Yeah.
started the new year off with a couple shitty situations. Um, I was listening to Morning Combat, a podcast, and those guys, Luke Thomas and Brian, I can't remember his last name. They're the hosts of the show. It's a pretty good podcast. I highly recommend it. uh they work for Showtime as well, and they were talking about how they're kind of torn. They work for Showtime, but they feel it's kind of productive to be promoting Tank Davis at this time.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. It's a tough sell.
It's a tough sell across the board, man, but I think this thing is just bigger than boxing. I think it's multifaceted in so many different levels, right?
You'll see though, the crowd's going to cheer this guy like crazy. Like I said, I've been reading the comments online. I'd say 80% of people are defending Tank. Oh, she recanted her story, but he's done this twice. He's been arrested for this. It's the second time she's called on him.
Yeah, but I guess and I hate to say this, man, and this sounds really bad on my part, but I almost feel like she's afraid to lose her gravy train.
That's exactly what it is. He said, "Hey, you better say you didn't do this, or else then I call the fight off or something." Right? He definitely talked about it. You don't call 911 saying I'm going to get killed if nothing's happening.
Again, what role did drugs and alcohol play?
Yeah.
I mean, how over dramatized was the whole situation? I mean, there's just so many levels.
I'm cheering for Hector Luis Garcia this fight. I hope he knocks Tank into the front row.
Well,
I don't think he will win, but I'm cheering for him 100%.
No, I'm behind Hector as well, only for the fact that I like his story. I like where he's come from, and I really feel that he has the potential to do something special here.
Does. It'd be a good fight.
I think it'll be a great fight. I think the only thing that we have to kind of be concerned of and be wary of is his mental capacity. Like, how strong is his mind going into this fight? I'm talking about Tank.
I think his mind's going to be strong. I think he wants to shut everybody up like us who was saying this about him. I think he wants to finish him and make a statement and make all this go away. I think he's going to come out firing.
I'm hoping for a great fight. I'm hoping that he can pace himself. Like you said, if he comes out firing, I hope he doesn't gas himself or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, because this Hector's got a gas tank, man. He can go.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a decision. Tank win by decision, although I'm pulling for Hector. We'll see.
We're in Tank's backyard in Maryland. He's a Baltimore guy, so they will be, in his hometown. Sellout expected. I get it. But I don't know. I'm kind of like looking at this guy, thinking, I'm like, how can he get away with this?
It's like we live in a forgive and forget society. I won't mention names, but look at some of the celebrities that we cheer and embrace. These guys have raped women. They punch women out.
No, say some names. Let's hear them, man.
Okay, Mike Tyson. Big Ben Roethlisberger. Deshaun Watson. De La Hoya is being accused of sexual assault now, getting sued.
This is where
and we cheer Mike Tyson like everybody. He's on all the podcasts. He's smoking weed. He's hippie. He's cool. This guy violently raped. If you read up what he did,
no, I've read it. No, I get it.
Nobody talks about that at all anymore, right?
But I mean, it goes across all platforms, right? Not just in sports, in politics, and
a lot of dirty politics,
and all of it, right? Like, it's just like, oh, this is the first time it's happened. Yeah, this is the first time you got caught, right? Like this, like you said earlier, and I agree with you 100%. If you strike your woman and you got caught and you say it's your first time, I don't believe you.
Heck no.
Right? I do not.
Dan has put his hands on his woman many times. He's 55 years old. He can just do it out of the blue.
No,
that's your character. That's your character, right?
Exactly. I mean, you can't. I don't know. I don't know what to say about any of these guys, man. They're just it's unfortunate because the average Joe is the one who pays the price for it.
Oh yeah, big time.
Right? I mean, I'm not saying this would ever happen, but if you were to strike your lady, I don't think we'd be doing the podcast on a Tuesday.
Oh, I'd probably be in jail.
Well, I'm just saying, right?
I would be charged with domestic violence and probably a hate crime.
Right. Oh yeah, you got the double fucking.
Yeah, I might have that on me. Oh, you did that because she's black. Like, who knows where they go with this stuff?
She's black and a woman.
Yeah. And she's an immigrant.
You'll
So
have
that's
black
three of them on
lives.
me.
You'll have black lives up your ass.
Oh yeah.
You'll
I'll
have
lose my job.
you'll
You
have
know,
the feminists coming after you.
it'll be nasty, dude.
Right. And the feminists are still trying to figure out what they're fighting for because I really don't know what their agenda is anymore.
They
But
just fight for the sake of fighting, dude. That's their
well,
agenda.
I heard this somewhere and I'll quote it. Someone asked a feminist, what rights do you guys not have that men have? And she couldn't answer it.
Because they don't. They have all these same rights.
And then what rights are you guys fighting for? She couldn't answer it. There's nothing.
Exactly.
She's like, oh wow, that's a good question. Like, okay. So what's going on here?
Very good question.
Right?
Yeah, I know. I hear you on that.
All right, Mr. Michaels. Why don't we wrap this puppy up here? And we'll call this one a day as we get into an awesome weekend of boxing, man. I'm really excited. I really
Me
truly
too.
am. Maybe it's just been a while since we've seen a good fight,
That's part of it too.
right?
Been a
Like, you
bit.
know, first card of the year, everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
Family
I can't
obligation.
wait, dude.
No, I can't wait. Like, this is a legitimate, fun card. And
We'll
you
see
know what
3
makes
to 4 really good fights at least. Maybe 6 or 7 on the card.
right. And what's exciting is there's no wrestling that night. There's nowhere else to be, right? Knock on
Yeah.
wood. You know, like everything works out. I will be in front of my television on Saturday night. Hopefully it's pissing rain. So there's nowhere to go and nowhere to be. And yeah, we'll wrap this up. But hey, guess what, man? Should we tell them or should we just surprise them with the
Let's
announcement?
surprise them just in case. There's always a chance that something falls through the cracks.
Okay. I'll say this, guys. Listen, in the next couple of days,
Give them a hint.
I'm not even gonna give them a hint. I'm just gonna leave it at this. We potentially, because we are wrestling and boxing guys, nothing's official until that bell rings and both guys touch gloves.
Yes.
We are hoping to have a guest on in the next week or so that will be very different from anyone we've ever had on our show. A lot can argue that this individual, well, why the fuck is he on a boxing and wrestling
We'll
podcast?
hear some of that. Absolutely, we will.
Right. But you know what? Let's play it by ear right now, Mr. Michaels. This is your work, so congratulations to you for
Well, we'll put it this way,
get.
like we've always said. We can have guests on that we agree with, we don't agree with. We're not saying we agree or disagree. What we're saying is we'll have a conversation with anybody that wants to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And the people can judge what's what. That's how I say it, right?
Yeah. Well, we talked about this yesterday morning.
Almost
right?
like a Joe Rogan thing. He talks a lot of people he doesn't even like, he despises, but
No,
it's that conversation.
100%. And this is the conversation that we had yesterday morning about this particular individual.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's kind of like, okay, let's do the best we can with this, right?
Well, see where it goes, yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting take. I don't know how long it's going to last, to be fair. But we'll get the most that we possibly can out of this.
Speaking of that, I'm not going to give away who it is, but have you ever seen that Iranian guy, PBD podcast?
Yeah.
He was on there for about 2 hours. He got about 485,000 views about 6 months ago. Check that one out.
No, I'll check it out tonight to kind of get a bit of a background on the guest.
They can Google PBD podcast. You'll never guess what we're having. You can never guess in a million years. I wouldn't even guess it.
Well, like I said, man, it's going to be an exciting day when we talk to this individual.
It'll be fun.
I think everything's lined up. Everything is a go.
Sounds good. Yeah.
But like I said, until that bell rings and we touch gloves.
That's why I don't want to say the name just in case he does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So we will know in the next day or two if we've locked this guy in. And once we have everything in the can, we will let you guys know via Instagram and Twitter what to expect and who to expect.
I think we go an hour and a half at least, I'd assume.
Well, I mean, I'm only basing it on the conversation that you had initially, when they called you back to confirm, and it was the publicist and whatnot. So the reason I say I'm not sure how long it goes, because if this individual has a publicist and everyone controlling their time, for all we know, he could be giving us 15 minutes. He could be giving us 20 minutes before he has to go to the next one, right? So
I think my take, just from emailing with them.
Yeah.
I think he didn't say this. This is what I gathered from him, but I think he thinks we're friendly guys, we're likable guys. He's obviously watched a couple clips. So I'm thinking because he's doing it, we'll go to about an hour.
Okay,
We'll
well,
see.
like I said, we'll play
I
it
don't
by
know.
ear.
Could be 10
We'll go
minutes.
from there. We'll go from there. We'll
Yeah.
whatever he gives us, he or she gives us, we'll take it.
Yes.
And we'll kind of go from there. On that note, my man, I am Bobby motherfucking Sampson. I like that. Sounds kind of cool.
Sounds awesome.
Right on, man. And your chance, don't fuck with me, Michaels.
And in the words of the great AC/DC, those that like, subscribe, and download the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And in the words of the infamous, iconic Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp&Chance. Have a great weekend, everybody. Please, if you can get in front of a TV, watch these fights. You will not be disappointed. And if you are, you can blame Chance. Sounds good. There you go, brother. All right, man. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. We will talk to you soon.